Well guys, we're going to do something a little bit different that you usually don't see in motorcycle vlogs. I really like this goldwing emblem and the goldwing font, but unfortunately my 3D scanner, I have a 3D scanner, it won't pick up reflective surfaces. So what I'm thinking about doing is make a mold of this, and in today's video I will be creating a mold. Hopefully it's going to be successful, but I'm going to take you guys for a ride. Hopefully I can put it up online on a 3D website for free and have you guys download it if you want. So I'll make it free, of course, for anybody that wants it. I don't know if you guys follow the channel, but I do kind of like artsy fartsy stuff once in a while. And let me just show you what I have here. Currently I'm sculpting this Hellboy out of wood. After I sculpted it out of clay, that's a plaster cast version I made of my Hellboy mask. First part, I'm going to take some oil-based clay and I'm simply just going to make a box around this where I want my silicone to go through. And it doesn't require a lot of oil-based clay, and you have to use oil-based clay that's sulfur-free. That's important. And this is oily, so it's going to leave prints, as you can tell already. And this will work for making a copy of anything, really. And this is what I have. You see, it's like there's two boxes on here, and I should fill this with silicone. So let's prepare the silicone. And here's my silicone. Use anything you want, but the way this works is that you have 2 cups. You put equal amounts into the silicone. So I am going to shake this very well. First I'm gonna put some gloves on my stir here. That's part B, and then part A. And I am going to pour part A in here, just a little bit. I'm going to make sure I get the exact amount. I'm just going to line it up, and you're going to see it's a different consistency. And a little bit more. You could also measure it by weight. Doesn't matter which cup you pour it into, but if there's going to be a reaction when you mix it all. Just make sure you get all the silicone. You don't want to leave any in there. And now there's a working time for this. This is going to cure in a matter, I believe, is like 20 minutes or so. So you want to make sure you take this. Now this creates quite a bit of a mess because it gets all over the table. So I'm just going to do this, mix it really well. You'll start to get it a little bit thicker once it starts reacting. Just kind of make sure you get the sides and the bottom. Mix it really well. It's going to become a little like kind of milky consistency. I've done this before with polyurethane. My mold here, this is what we are trying to reproduce. If you can see, I'm just going to keep mixing it a little bit, and in a few seconds I'll be pouring it in, and we're pretty much ready. It's a nice consistency, and I'm going to be pouring it into our mother mold. Just remove this here. And now I'm just going to be pouring it first onto this one, a little bit. See, it's already kind of coming out, it's bubbling up. And then I'm going to level it. Now I'm going to be pouring it into the goldwing one. See, I mixed too much. Right there. It's bubbling up. I don't know if you guys can tell, but and hopefully we're not going to be. So usually people would put this in a vacuum tube or a vacuum just so, let me see if I can raise this up a bit like that. You see how it's like thickening up? That's okay, all of this stuff we'll be able to clean up. And now it's going to start getting darker. And that's what we want. So we're gonna fast forward this to a couple of minutes, come back to it, and check our progress. Okay guys, I have let this dry overnight. It's tacky to the touch, so I hope that it's working. We're gonna find out. So what I'm gonna do is just start removing all the clay, and it should pop out without any issues. You know, one thing that sometimes happens, you see it's like wet, that's cure inhibition. And unfortunately, it's always a bad sign when that happens, but we're gonna keep going and see if this is gonna pop out. It does seem it's solid, just a little bit wet on the sides. And I don't know why, I think it's this clay that I used. So if this doesn't work, I'm gonna redo this using a different clay. But I'm hoping that this will work. So here we go. I'm pulling out the silicone and it seems like it's working. Look at that. That's our first, and you can see it's a negative. So I'm just gonna leave this aside. I think so far it looks pretty good. We're gonna clean it up as well. And now for this part. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks like it's a perfect mold. Just try to get all of this sort of stuff. The sides always get a little bit inhibited. I don't know exactly the cause of it, because this clay doesn't have any strange properties, but here we have the two. So this is the goldwing one. You know, unfortunately it's kind of rounded because of the plastic, but that's fine. I'm gonna make just a plaster copy as a test. You could use this with clay, with any sort of epoxy, whatever you want, but I have plaster, it's the cheapest, and I'm gonna see if it works. This is plaster. Plaster you can get at Home Depot, you know, online, and it's just very cheap. It's the best way of making reproductions of sculptures. There's a working time for this. You don't want to be doing this too much. And I'm probably going to do that outside. I'm already making a mess. Unfortunately, this thing is quite messy. I'm going to put some more water. And, I mean, I do not need much at all. That's the goldwing. And now on this one, see, I barely used any of it. So you don't need a lot for this sort of stuff. Out. Okay guys, it's time to demold it. This one is the logo. I can see I already kind of broke it, but that's fine. I'm just gonna pull it out. Oh yeah, that's really bad. But that's because I didn't probably mix enough of this, but it did come out perfectly for the parts that didn't break. Mold this. Let's see, I can do this without breaking anything. Just put it to the side, and now I'm just going to push it up. Come on, eesh, come on, don't break, don't break. And that's a success. Look at that. I think that came out pretty darn good. Yeah, that's almost perfect. So this is the plaster cast of the logo, and this is really what I wanted. Of course, Honda did this to kind of mimic a little bit of the Harley style logo. And then I have the gold, and then the W, but it broke off because I cast it very thinly. And that's really the only reason. I'll be able to cast it again and get it absolutely right if I want. But this is really what I want. So I'm still not done with it. I'm gonna break this piece off. Now the next step is to scan it. What I have here is a tool I use for my sculptures. It's called the Gl1100 Lizard 3D scanner. And I'm just gonna scan this really quick. It doesn't take very long. There's software that I am using, and it should be very simple. So I just aim it at it, it'll start to give me a kind of a rough estimate. I am done, so I'm going to hit stop on my computer. So guys, I finished doing most of it, and of course the plaster casts of the Goldwing have actually came out fairly well. And it takes some time to get this right, and I'm still gonna work on it because the D kind of fell off. And it would be nice to kind of mount this in the plaque, so stay tuned for that. I might do that eventually. And then I did this one, and I think this one came out really well. And it takes some time, of course, but I have the silicone mold of this. And then I had some additional plaster, and I made a new one. So here it is. And it's still got the broken part of the plaster. One thing I might do is mold it out of cement. It'll be kind of cool. Or I can mold it out of some sort of resin and make it like the Goldwing logo, because I should be able to create absolutely perfect reproductions of this. And this is a very good copy with some imperfections in the cast. The 3D model, I scanned it, not as nice, I have to admit. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's all there. It's just not that excellent. So what I might do is recreate this in a 3D program, just finesse it a little bit, make the corners a little bit sharper. So if you are interested in getting this, I made a Thingiverse free file. You can download it for free. I'll put a link in the description below. So if you're a Goldwing Gl1100 fan, you can download it for free. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.